Welcome to the new season of MesoTV. MesoTV is a program of the Mesothelioma Applied Research Foundation and is made possible thanks to the generous support of our sponsors. To learn more about our sponsors, please watch the following message.
My name is Kelly Batley.
My name is Clay Thompson.
My name is Neil Mowney.
We are MRHFM, a national firm with 70 attorneys and 11 offices across the U.S.
At MRHFM, we exclusively help mesothelioma patients and their families. It's all we do.
This is why we are proud to sponsor the Mesothelioma Applied Research Foundation and its work to fund mesothelioma research and provide support services and education for patients and their families.
Hi, my name's Joe Bellick, and I'm the founding partner of the law offices of Bellick & Fox. We support the mesothelioma community by providing first-quality legal representation to mesothelioma patients and their families. During these troubling times, we're proud to support the Mesothelioma Applied Research Foundation so they can continue the work that they do every day on behalf of mesothelioma patients and their families.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to this episode of MesoTV, where we talk to experts and our staff about programs and opportunities for our patients and provide educational information about what's new in mesothelioma. Today, I have the opportunity to talk to Meghan Butler, who's our development coordinator at the Meso Foundation. Hi, Meghan.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today. And we're really glad to have you back on the program. And it's my first time to get to interview you. So today we wanted to talk to you about, I have a series of questions to ask you about two of our important programs. The first being our patient travel grant program, and our second being our research grant program. So this episode is going to appeal to two different groups: patients and their families and caregivers, and our research community. So let's get into it with our patient travel grant program. Okay, so tell me really quick, how many types of travel grants do we have available for patients?
So we have two types of grants. The first being for when a patient is going to see a meso expert for the first time, initial consultation. And then the second type is when a patient is enrolled in a clinical trial. So those are the two different types.
That's really great. Now, in order for someone to apply for these grant programs, whether it be for the consultation with a mesothelioma expert or the participating in a clinical trial, what kind of paperwork do patients need to fill out?
There's two types of, two parts to the application. The first being the medical authorization, which the doctor would fill out. That's just going to explain, if they are going to see them for the first time or what type of clinical trial that they are in. And then the second part is going to be what the patient is going to fill out. It's just going to be the, all of the patient's information, their contact information, the need that they have, as well as at the end of that document, it's going to be what expenses they incurred. So just, what the hotel, all of that information. And then attached to that, they're also going to give me their receipts. So those are the two parts of the application that they're going to need to send us.
Okay, great. So you can find out more about the patient travel grant on our website or by calling our office, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Or they can reach out to me via email as well.
Okay, great. So one of the questions we often get from our patients is, I've seen my local oncologist, but I think I need a second opinion because my local oncologist has never ever seen a mesothelioma patient. Does the initial consultation patient grant allow for that kind of second opinion as well?
Yes. Yeah. As long as they're, going to see a meso expert, that will definitely count. We want people to be able to go and be able to see those mesothelioma experts. So that will definitely count as their initial consultation.
Okay, that's great. And do you usually advise that someone have a conversation with Shannon, our patient services director, during the process of filling out the paperwork and getting some help?
Yes, I would, we always encourage them to talk to Shannon. Shannon's a great resource, obviously, for patients to be able to just make sure that they're receiving the right type of care for them. And especially, we have all the resources within their area. So we encourage people to reach out to Shannon during the process.
That's great. And I think one of the things that we know is that because there's so few meso experts out there, but there are different kinds of mesothelioma, so it's important for someone to get to the right expert, and we can serve in that role of sort of helping people find the right place, right?
Yes, yeah, of course. Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Sometimes we get questions about what kind of expenses that we can cover for patients participating in these programs, because costs do add up. So what kind of expenses are allowable?
So we allow for, almost all travel expenses. So things such as lodging, hotels, Airbnbs, if that's something that you want to do instead of going to a hotel, any type of transportation. So airline tickets, if you're traveling via car, we can reimburse for gas prices, buses, trains, things like that. And then taxis or ride shares as well. So if you're Ubering from the airport or anything like that. And I'm not sure, I don't remember if I said this, but parking as well, you can reimburse for that too.
Great. And then do we encourage patients to look at other resources, maybe at their healthcare institution? Like where else do we help people find support?
Yes, so I know we have some listed on our website, but we do have other resources such as the Healthwell Foundation and the PAN Foundation. I know those are two examples, but we do, we encourage people to look for other places to go. I know that, I'm sure other, like the hospitals and other places have other resources. So we do encourage people to look for other resources as well, if they can, get those.
So if you could tell folks applying for support any helpful tips, what are some things that you see people that maybe miss, or things that they could improve, or maybe make it easier for the team here to get them quick support? What would you tell them?
So, things like just trying to fill out the application with everything included would be great. I know that, is kind of sometimes a little tricky with everything to include everything, but, just making sure to get all the expenses together would be just really helpful for us. And just so everybody's aware of the program for us, each trip is reimbursable up to $1,000, just so that everybody, has that information. And all expenses must be submitted within 30 days as well, just so that everybody knows that. So we just want to make sure that we can get everybody the help that we need, but, we also want to make sure that we're able to help as many people as we can as well.
That's great. Thank you so much for helping explain our patient travel grant program. And I want to note that our patient travel grant program is made possible by support from a number of foundations and individual donors who make contributions throughout the year. So these are funds that we raise to help our patient communities. So we want to make sure that folks know that this is part of what we do, and we appreciate all that support of the foundation and of this program in particular. So so I know we're going to switch gears a little bit, because that was really directed at our patient and caregiver community. This one's ultimately will support our patient and caregiver community, but in a different way. So let's take some time and talk about the research grant program. And this is less me asking you questions and us having a conversation. So one of the things that I wanted to make sure we talked about was the process. How do we get to a research grant? So something that I think is a really important part of the research grant process is that the priorities for funding are set by the Science Advisory Board, which is a group of experts that are supportive of the foundation. They're members of a board that meets a couple times a year to talk about the breaking science issues in the mesothelioma space. But it's also advised by the Community Advisory Board, as well as our board of directors. So they set our priorities. And then, of course, the staff, we weigh in a little bit too. And then it really goes to you, which is the letter of intent announcement. So what happens then? What do we do with a letter of intent and a schedule that we've set up for timeline? What do you do? What happens then?
Yeah, so we we put the announcement up on our website, and kind of just kick it to all of the resources that we have, past people who have applied, any kind of network that we have. And then we get a lot of people who apply to this on our site Proposal Central. And, we kind of just let the letters kind of flow in, I guess, if you will. And then we just keep this open for a period of time. And then once the letters of intent come in, and like you said, we focus on these different types of, I guess, areas of interest. I know one this year was one that we really wanted to focus on was in the improvement of quality of life in mesothelioma, which I thought was really important. And so I know once those came in, then we kind of divvied it up from our, not only our community advisory board people to make sure that our community had a say in kind of being able to read those letters of intent, but also our science advisory board as well. And they were able to read all of the letters of intent and kind of, see which ones, I guess, evaluate them. And then I guess score them. We were able to see what everybody thought of them and then evaluate them and invite people back to have a full application. And so that's the spot that we're in right now, is making the people who were able to come back, invited back for a full application. They're writing their full applications now, and the deadline's the end of the month.
Great. So, based on my observation, it looks like about a 4-to-1 ratio of applications, letters of intent that come in versus the total, the number of folks that are invited back based just on hard numbers,
Right.
4-to-1, 3-to-1, something like that. And I will also say, since I reviewed this year, which was very exciting, and as a peer reviewer, now remember, these are letters of intent. So they're about 10 pages,
Right.
something like that.
Yeah.
These aren't the full applications. The full applications are much larger.
Yes.
But these are heavily scientific and sometimes pretty intensely focused on really, really small parts of the mesothelioma diagnosis and treatment. So I think that it's important that the folks watching this understand that the letters of intent and then later the full grant applications are reviewed by patients, caregivers, and then our team. Some of our staff will review. We are very grateful to have peer reviewers, and some of the peer reviewers who review for our grant process also turn around and they review for the Department of Defense community or congressionally directed medical research program. So we have so much expertise in that very structured review process. So, so the proposals are reviewed. They call it blind or agnostic, meaning that we don't know what institution or who the researcher is until after we've reviewed the proposal. So that really does help too. And it allows every application to be reviewed on its merit. And when I say application, I mean letter of intent. So now we've invited back a dozen folks to submit a full proposal approximately. And then those are due soon. And then at that point, there'll be another round of reviews, right?
Yep. Another round of reviews. Like I said, the peer reviewers and the science advisory board are going to get to review them. And like you said, I think it's great to have the peer reviewers being able to have their opinions in there as well. And then after that, we're giving everybody a solid amount of time to be able to review. And then I guess we're going to pick about 2 to 3 to be able to find.
That's right. Absolutely. So at the end of the process, the strongest proposals, the ones that have the most merit and promise, will be selected and will be awarded a grant. And those are 2-year grants for a total of $100,000, and they're milestones. So one of the big things that folks want to know, and I think that it's fair to ask because our community raises the money that funds these grants every year, is what they want to know is like, kind of how many total grants have we given out in the past? Like how through the years, how many have we funded?
We have funded 114 grants.
Wow.
Yep.
That's pretty impactful.
Yeah, it is. I think it's great. I mean, there's so much research to be done. So I think being able to fund that many, and hopefully 2 to 3 more coming up, and adding to that list is, really promising. And hopefully we'll be able to keep being able to do it and, be able to do more research and hopefully, find more out about mesothelioma and hopefully find a cure soon, So.
I think that's exactly it. In such a rare disease, I think it is really important that we have such community support for the research part. And we are a research organization, a research based in, we have these 2 arms. We have the research side and we have the patient and family services programs. So we're we're really grateful for the support of our community. And I want to say too, that one of the things that we know to be true is that in this rare, even super rare disease space, our grants tend to be like planting seeds. You know, we're planting seeds for the future, and it's buildable knowledge. So the things that they learn, that we've learned through these 114 projects, and in some cases we learned that that's not the way forward, that's just not going to work, right? So sometimes it's good to know, to course correct and know, but then in some cases it's pushing research down paths that can result in new things. But what happens in the research world is that an initial small grant to test out an idea results in enough favorable outcomes or information so that grant can then be translated into the next grant, which can be translated into the next grant. And hopefully someday we will see more, better, faster, stronger cures, which I know is an unscientific way to say it. But at the end of it, I want our patients to understand why we invest in research. And it's because of them. We're here trying to find hope for the future, which includes hopefully someday curing this. But in the interim, let's find better treatments. So the big news is that the letters or the full applications are due at the end of March 2022. And then over the summer, we'll see the full applications, and we'll be announcing the awards this summer for the next round. And then we start all over again. So it's a continuous cycle. We're always hoping to attract new researchers into our community. We do that by asking our current and former grantees to reach out to their networks and their institutions. We also have our scientific advisory board, our board of trustees, and our community advisory board who reach out through their networks. We also reach to all previous funded grantees of the congressionally directed medical research program. And anyone who's doing great research out there in mesothelioma, we track them. So we cast a pretty wide net, but at the end of the day, you know, we're gonna fund what looks best and seems most promising. So I think that wraps up the description of our research grant program, but I want to direct everybody on our website. If you want to know more, just go to the website at curemeso.org. And at the top, there's a button that says research. If you click on that, you can learn more about the grant programs, what we've funded in the past, who's doing the research, what the process looks like from the perspective of a researcher, and contact information to learn more about this program. You can also find more about our patient travel grants by clicking on the button that says treatment and support, or by calling our toll-free number 877-363-6376. I know that information will be at the bottom of the screen, and it's at the bottom of the website where you're viewing this, but I thought that just in case, it might not be a bad idea to mention it here today. I want to say thanks to Meghan for joining us, for helping us learn more about these two important programs that are funded by our community, and for all of you for watching. So I hope everyone has a great day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you back at our next episode.
Thank you.